What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. This single buyout is going to have me segueing into a lot of different areas and market theories and discussions, and you guys seem to like when I do that with Market Watch, and when doesn't it end up that way? Lilith, Lady of Lament, has tripled to quadrupled in price. It was around $3.50 to $4, and now it's spiking. You see the sales near $12, even at $15, and the lowest sellers are all low rated under that $12 mark before it spikes well over that $15 mark from top rated sellers. My first thought is, you guys who really hated the structure deck reprints and called them a waste in the mega pack, this is why it's very valuable actually to do that. You have structure decks that Konami, it's just not worth it to them to rewave. Look at this in the zombie structure deck, and even if you're sitting at home going, well, I would buy 3 of the zombie structure deck if it were at my locals, they're going to overprint it, and not everybody's after it like you, and some people will go for the singles when they get busted open from the structure, and then shelf space, that's worth something to a shop. Lilith is the perfect card to end up being reprinted in, say, a deck building set though, and I think would make a very good collector rare, especially since Lament has been developing as an archetype, and then you have Tactical Masters being the reason that this spiked in the first place. You have the Labyrinth Trap archetype, people are excited. They're also excited about, what is it, the Generator lore one with all the quick plays in this, and then you have Pendulum, and it is on pre-sale with code What's Good 5 for 5% off and to support the channel directly, but I always put my audience first. While I'm not a financial advisor channel, I can't see the future and how it will turn out. This needs around 7 to 8 really good collector rares to end up being a home run, and right now the only one I've seen is like compulsory evacuation device if we're actually copying the OCG list. And you have the upped MSRP. Well, it's $6,469. Nice. I see my sponsor Sense of Humor here. We look at the Grand Creators, which is still around $60 a box, and it has the adventure, actual engine. And the problem with these sets is the ratios. It's not worth it for both vendors and for players to be busting this open in mass. So some singles will end up spiking in price and be past worth what they should be because this just isn't open enough, and then that leaves a surplus of the product sitting there on shelves and making it available due to competition, even when you have a home run and a secondary engine that's good and a hype thing from the past like the Insectors, which not everyone's going to be on board with. Like I said, nobody wants to do 100-step Insector combos except for you 5 guys writing the entire combo down in the comment section. Genesis Impact had Drytron, a very specific deck building set where you have to have a mentality that you want to play that kind of combo deck, but it also had the Live Twins and a very bad selection of collector rares. I do think Grand Creator shows that they're doing better with some of their collector rare choices, but towards the top collector rares, you only have 3 really good ones outside of the archetypes, and it needs to do and be better for these deck building sets to be worth going for. So I would say I wouldn't take the gamble. I would stay away, but if they somehow do manage to really make this set end up with that, quick play spell deck, and then you have the trap deck, player brain wrapping around, it's kind of interesting to think about that it could succeed, but I still would be staying away personally. But it's up there for pre-orders if you're going to go in anyways and support the channel directly. My third thought with Lilith here is the kind of cycle that happens with these announcements. So you have the buyout now, right? How often do you see that? Cards announced, people get hyped, something spikes. And then, when does the set come out? July 1st, about a quarter of a year away. So you're going to have that time where people chill out on it, and then it's almost here. People start scrambling for it again and get hype, and then you see how it goes, where is it going to go, and how's it going to actually implement. So looking around, I do think there's other things to actually take note of, like Trap Trick, and I do see that the first edition secret rare is still pretty dang expensive for this card. But when you actually look up Trap Trick in Yu-Gi-Oh, you have a ton of different versions that are decently cheap, even if you want a holographic right now. But I would get a card this generically good sooner than later, especially a holographic, and here's why. What's a card we all made fun of so much? Foolish Burial Goods. It even got a reprint last year again in Gold Series, Maximum Gold, and wow, what is this? What's happening? Every copy is $2.50 to $3 because it ends up in so many rogue strategies, and once in a while a topping strategy, and we could use a collector rare for this, no joke, no cap, actually. I'm ordering one from the OCG right now. I'm paying the $5. I want to see what it looks like, but when a card is this generically good and they slam reprints of that so fast, sometimes they cool down, and even with a new one, it ends up looking like this, and Trap Trick could be along that same front. You do have Maximum Gold Eldorado, you do have a structure deck, which they have over there. You have the side set and the Mega Tins. That's pretty much what Foolish BRL Goods has going for it, +1, but Trap Trick is a little newer. So I would think about Trap Trick sooner than later. It ends up in so many list combos, different decks, and even if it ends up rogue, it's something to consider for how generic it is and what it ends up with. Also, generic Fiends were pointed out to me by Master Dinnerflex, co-host on the streams, and that's a pretty good point. Cards like Chaos Hunter, where you have the generic Fiend goodness that could work with the Trap deck. This card has been bought out so many times. He also mentioned ones like Invader of Darkness. I don't know about having to shut down the quick play decks, but it is funny that there's a hard counter from the Trap deck in the same set, kind of searchable, put out thereable by the Fiend deck, but do think about the ones that have had more of a meta impact in the past, such as also Absolute King Bagjack. I didn't know this was almost a $2 card. I wouldn't have known unless he mentioned that, and it's so fun to find cards like this that have these couple of printings that have had a use once upon a time and could end up cycling back into a metagame at some point, and just finding out you have cards that are worth more money than you thought. I've always pulled this guy out of bulk commons and holos, but I had no clue that this was nearing to be a $2 card. Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, we brought this up a ton, but she's at all-time highs. She is over $300 for the Ultimate Rare with the lowest listing at $330, and you see people are actually going crazy prices buying this out all the way up to $250. So the nice versions of Ghost Ogre, including the Secret Rare within this metagame, which a lot of people are on Ogre, over $100 for first edition, and that's Italian Spanish. Let's find an actual English copy at first ed, and they are nearing 140. Wow, what an ancient card so many people have slept on time and time again as it goes out of formats, and I've had conversations that look at these hand traps that float back into formats. Pretty good to buy them when they cool down, and it's proving here. Kind of like Tinky was until it finally got limited. Guardian Chimera is continuing to spike. You can see you could have bought it for 16, 17 a long time, and I brought it up. I felt like there was going to be a forced injection of this at some point, if not panic buying of, oh yeah, the structure deck's coming out, we're going to get it, and that kind of makes it a good buy to have your own, and now they're $30, so if you did get in there, you're doing very good for yourself. And a Luber really hanging out at the triple digits as we head in. It was so weird to me how it was falling out and was like 55, 60 again, and you can even see that 3-dip where it went announcement, down and up. We were just talking about that with something else. Weird how these segues connect, huh? So Aluber had that moment of announcement, spike, chill out, you're able to get it cheaper again, and now, oh my gosh, it's so much, I waited too long. You can't always wait for it to like bottom back out to where it was at $30. That's not going to happen, but it's still going to bottom back out versus that initial spike on announcement. But when we have that hang time of so long, people want their money to work for them instead of sit there. Some people like to go and get it immediately on that and then sit, where others want, okay, I can make my money move this time, and this time again, and then get them while they're bottoming out, and then they'll spike again. There's just different approaches you can have, and again, it doesn't always pan out. You never know what's going to happen. Like, this guy's already announced Ultimate Rare, right? For the next OTS pack, which is crazy. I'm really... Oh, no, that's Albaz. My bad. That's Albaz. I confuse him with Albaz sometimes. So, Albaz has announced Ultimate Rare. Would be crazy to see this Ultimate Rare also. And I'd really like to see that coming. But, currently, that's Albaz. But it would be kind of funny, wouldn't it? Next up, we have Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, and this just keeps going crazy. Market price 130. He's around the 125. He also goes with that engine, and we brought him up several times here. Just wild how when you have something that's stuck in a product and it actually succeeds, unlike Crossout Designator, what it ends up doing to that product. People paying $60 a 10, and you're only going to see 1.4 some out of him per case. The dual terminal commons continue to rise up, and this is hilarious to me. The second most expensive card is now Shining Flare Wingman, passing even the secret rares. And I told you guys you might want to be in on the commons early. And there's another common in here that leads me into a discussion, which is DT buyouts. Flameville Guard is in here as a common, and then it's a dual terminal common. And people are buying the dual terminal common for upwards of a buyout of $10+. to force it on up. You have a brand new version you can be playing, and I know people, oh, it looks a little different. Yeah, it has the holographic on the fire. There are differences versus dual terminal. It doesn't have that dual terminal text that takes you back to your childhood. But, yeah, this is being played in the pile decks based, the whole engine.deck-like thing, it seems, as a tech card. And then you also have it for past formats like Dragon Ruler. And I feel like dual terminals, we've seen these buyouts flop time and time and time again. This one, even with the past format to play to it, Dragon Ruler's not what's taking off. It's Edison. I don't really see this doing all too hot, although you do have Flamevel over there, don't you? And then Rise of the Mega Monarch. I've just been keeping my eye on this with so many people talking Flunder, going Flunder, and it keeps going up slowly in price despite a couple quantities coming back and stays very low on quantities. I think this would be a great time to sell yours with Ghosts from the Past 2 on the horizon being a potential reprint to place for, or the World Premiere Pack where they have more choices for reprints. I feel like winds of change could be coming for how many copies of this are out there, but that's still speculation, and that's just my vendor sense tingling. We'll have to wait and see how that actually goes, because Konami's known about this now for a very long time in terms of its hype and demand, and they like to cash in and make themselves look the hero when it really doesn't do all that much for a product. It'll just bottom it out for a very long time. What do you guys think of all the conversations here today, spinning from Lilith along with the collector rare sets? And will this be the collector rare set to change the tides? I personally don't think so, as much as I really like the archetypes inside. When you have only 3.6 of each ultra rare pulled on average per case because you only get 3 ultras per box, it's bad for the vendors, it's bad for the players. When it was secret rare sets, you had 20 different secret rares per set, 24 packs all having a secret rare per box, and shorting was around 6 secret rares, 5 secret rares per case, and when it was mega bad short, it was 3.4, which is still about what now every ultra is at this point, really bottoming them out past what's worth it for people. And we're seeing that with a lot of products and Modern, and I think that's worth its own video to talk about. But again, let me know what you think. Is it finally going to turn the tables? We're seeing hype around it. I just don't think it's it. I think we're still waiting for the deck building set, not to be confused with world premiere sets, which are Toon Chaos and then King's Copium, King's Court. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation, and I really do want to hear what you got to say about these things.